Uso Splash, new Intercontinental Champ. Now Jay's on like when you shop at Champs. Top rope for the pinfall, but the Superkick smack Brown's brain like a flipper hit a pinball. Started to wash him, the tide turn. Spear through the barricade, had Bron hurt. One more spear for the road. Now Jay's the only O-G Bloodline member with some gold. Welcome to the Signature Move. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Signature Move Show. My name is A.O. Baker, of course. We're talking Jey Uso, brand new Intercontinental Champion. He beat Bron Breakker, and he did it with the Uso Splash, but like I mentioned in the intro, it was the spear and the super kick that gave him the upper hand. I'm joined right now for another edition of Signature Move Trivia by my good friend, my good sir, King Rickie Rozay, of course, lead host of the Kings of the Rings podcast, GM of Wrestle Addict Radio. What's up, sir? How are we?
I'm doing great, man. I'm here to talk some grabs, like always.
Yeah, man. So, y'all already know the deal. We have 10 questions. We have 5 questions this week for the spear, 5 questions for the super kick. Rick, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Let's start the game. Question number 1. Who is credited with introducing the super kick to pro wrestling?
Wow. Okay. Because it's
yeah. We're starting, man.
Yeah. Because like I want to like it's one of those things where it's like it's such a generic move, but like when was it actually called a super kick? Like,
all right, so that is a question, but who's actually credited with introducing the move?
Introducing the move
to pro wrestling.
Yeah, okay. Because I want to say Michael Hickenbottom, but I don't think it's Michael. I don't think it's Michael Hickenbottom at all. It has to predate him. It has to predate Hickenbottom, and it's not in America. I have a feeling like it's not in America at all. Inoki. Is it Inoki?
Incorrect. It is Gentleman Chris Adams.
UK.
Gentleman Chris Adams. He had a judo background and started using what he called the judo kick as a finisher.
Gotcha.
Gentleman Chris Adams. Question number 2. Who is credited with giving the super kick its name?
That's got to be SHAWN.
No, sir. That is also Gentleman Chris Adams.
Chris Adams.
Gentleman Chris Adams. Question number 3. So throughout the 80s and early 90s, SHAWN used a double super kick as half of the Rockers with MARTY JANNETTY as well as a solo wrestler, but he didn't use it as a finisher until 1993. What was his finishing move before using the super kick?
Wasn't a DDT because I was exclusively Jake the Snake Roberts for a very, very long time before it became a transitional move. What was SHAWN's finisher? It's not a submission because that's not a SHAWN thing to do.
It would have been fire, by the way.
What? A SHAWN as a submission move?
A SHAWN submission wrestler would have been very interesting.
Yeah. It's not flashy enough for SHAWN.
Exactly.
Oh boy. Okay. What was SHAWN's finisher before the super kick in 93? It had to be like a top rope elbow drop. Was it an elbow drop? Top rope elbow?
Incorrect. It was actually like a teardrop suplex. Almost looked like an early version of the angle slam, just with less twisting, but it was a back suplex.
Gotcha. Okay.
I know he used the pile driver a bit too, so but yeah. I think for the most part, I know in the video games too, he would have a little
pile driver.
Little backdrop suplex, teardrop suplex. Question number 4. Who did Shawn Michaels learn the super kick from?
Swear to God, if it's Gentleman Chris Adams. Who did he learn it from? I'm going to go just very weirdly and be like, it was a JANNETTY thing.
I'm going to give you credit because it is indeed Gentleman Chris Adams. According to an interview from SHAWN himself, he learned the super kick from Gentleman Chris Adams back in the mid-'80s in Texas because Chris Adams was down there. So
gotcha.
Chris Adams, according to SHAWN, taught him the super kick, or at least he picked it up from him. And question number 5, who suggested that SHAWN start using the super kick as a finishing maneuver?
Oh, okay. Because there's only one real genius of the clique. I'm going to go Scott Hall.
Incorrect.
Is a genius, is not Scott Hall. Pat Patterson is the correct answer.
Is a genius though. Is a
Pat
genius.
Patterson is
Rest
a
in peace.
genius.
Rest in peace,
Absolutely.
that lovely man.
Long live the good sir Pat Patterson. There was an interview that I saw Shawn do, and he pretty much said that Pat Patterson told him that the super kick is the best move you have in your arsenal, and then when you go for the suplex, it's kind of a letdown. So stick with the super kick. And
Man
the
knew
Sweet
his
Chin
stuff.
music was born.
Man knew his stuff.
All right, let's go over to the spear. We have 5 questions for the spear. This is question number 6 overall. True or false, Goldberg invented the spear?
He popularized it, but he did not invent it. I believe that is false.
Correct. False. Want to take a stab at who did?
No, I have no clue. I remember, like, it's one of those things, like, in wrestling, I remember the spear being a thing that it was purely Goldberg growing up. And I don't remember anybody before Goldberg in my time as watching pro wrestling. I was very infantile at that point, so wrestling in the Attitude Era and stuff. Of anybody using the spears in such a fashion that would be highlighted like WCW highlighted with Goldberg. So I think it even predates Attitude Era. I think it was something that somebody used probably in either New Generation or like Golden Era, like 80s, that was utilized.
Even before that. So it's a football move. Now, like you mentioned, Goldberg's credited with making the spear hot, but it was 3-time NFL Pro Bowl defensive tackle Walter Johnson that used the move first.
Really?
He played 13 seasons with the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, but he also wrestled for 15 years in the NWA, Cleveland, and LA territories, plus in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And his time as a wrestler was from 1969 to 1984. So he's credited. Obviously looked slightly different, but
Yeah.
it was a tackle. And Walter Johnson, as far as I can tell, and as far as what I saw, brought the spear or a tackle to pro wrestling. But you got that one right. Definitely false. Goldberg did not invent the spear. Question number 7. Speaking of another guy that used the spear as a finishing move, what did Rhino call his version of the spear?
That is a gore.
That is correct.
Yes, because
Speaking
the
of Rhino,
announcers would just scream
Scream it.
gore. Yep.
Exactly. Speaking of Rhino, question number 8. Rhino was the last ECW World Champion and also the last ECW TV Champion. Not necessarily a spear question, but who did Rhino defend those titles against at ECW's last show?
Are we talking about ECW's last show with WWE or ECW's
ECW
actual
proper.
ECW proper. Okay. Who did he defend? Because both titles were on the line because it was the last show.
His last show, he was the dual champ and he was the last champ. So obviously he won. But who did he defend against?
Who did he defend against in the last show before they were bought out? Vince saved them essentially. I'm going to just balk on this one because I have no clue whatsoever. I'll go with Dreamer. For some reason, some Dreamer comes up to mind.
It was actually Spike Dudley. It was Spike Dudley. And just for information purposes, I just looked it up really quick. The very last ECW show took place on January 13th, 2001. Question number 9. What move did Rhino use to beat Spike Dudley in that match?
I feel like it's a trick question.
You're a smart man.
Yeah, it wasn't the gore. I feel like it's Spike. Spike did something crazy, so I want to say he powerbombed him through a table.
Pretty close. He gave him a pile driver on chairs.
Oh, okay, that works.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. And finally, question number 10. Speaking of 2 other wrestlers that are known for using the spear, not only as signature moves, but as finishing moves, Bobby Lashley and Adam Copeland, obviously also known as Edge. They both use the spear as finishing moves, but which wrestler has more world championships? Bobby Lashley or Adam Copeland?
So when we're talking world titles, we're talking across all
world
brands?
titles. So let's talk across WWE, TNA, any like the majors pretty much, WWE and TNA.
Ooh. That's world titles. Okay, because I feel like as a whole, Adam Copeland has more collectively, like all titles, like as an aggregate. Like we're talking like mid cards, worlds, tag team, like easily goes to Adam Copeland. Bobby
and just to clarify, we're counting obviously WWE championships is a world championship, WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and then in Bobby Lashley's case, the TNA World Championship.
TNA World Champion. And Edge is not in the double digits in world titles. I do not believe. He's close, but he's not there. Bobby had some crazy runs in TNA. And Edge really hasn't won anything of a world title level outside of WWE. But Bobby has, which makes me lean that Bobby would have more, but I don't think he does. I'm going to stick with Edge.
You are correct. Edge has more world championships. Want to take a stab at how much Edge has or how much Bobby Lashley has, or?
I know Bobby's got to probably have, because Bobby won it, I think, twice in WWE in his most recent run. He might have double. I think Edge has 8 and Bobby has 4.
One of them does have 8, but it's Bobby Lashley. Edge has 11.
Okay.
Bobby Lashley is a 4-time TNA World Champion, a 2-time WWE Champ, and a 2-time WWE World Heavyweight Champ. So that's his 8. Edge is a 4-time WWE Champ and a 7-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But that's the signature move.
Works for me. Thank you for having me, my dude.
Of course. Rick, let everybody know where they can find your shows, your network, and anything else you got going on.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is King Rickie Rozay, your host of Kings of the Rings podcast, which you can find at KOTR_podcast across all social media outlets. Please like, share, subscribe, leave us some 5-star reviews, buy some fantastic merch from us at our store. We are a part of Wrestle Addict Radio, tagline The Cure for the Common Wrestling Podcast, home to Kings of the Rings podcast, the Young Lions Perspective podcast, the WrestleMania podcast, and Be Braced for Impact podcast. Follow Wrestle Addict Radio socials at addict_wrestle on Twitter, some people call it X, and at Wrestle Addict Radio, all one word, everywhere else on social media.
Thank you, sir. And of course, my name is A.O. Baker, and that is the signature move. Peace.
10 times out of 10 I'm right. With this pen I write the thoughts of a genius, verified that I'm nice. My quotables are quotable, just ask me the price. Legend in 2 games, Steve Stout on the mic. I stand on my square, whatever circle I'm in. Circle the block before I step in the spot in this world of sin. Ain't here to be a victim, a villain. I'm here for business, sipping light beer like Mans Warner and pure denim.
Shook, got them spinning they boots. It get crazy when I get in the mood. Don't talk to me, dog, until you finish your food. Hope your image approved. Never been in it to lose. Before we finish them, we hit them with the signature move.
Go, 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 go. Play, make you